The ABC premiered TV's first animated primetime series, The Flintstones. In honor of the anniversary, some Flintstones trivia. It was loosely based on the Honeymooners and originally aimed at adults.
In the early days, Fred and Barney didn't just bowl and eat Bronto burgers, they stood in front of cameras and sold Winston cigarettes to American families. They smoked on screen, sang jingles for tobacco, and embodied a lifestyle that the studio later tried desperately to make the world forget. But here is the part nobody talks about: every single original lead voice actor, the voices of Fred, Barney, Wilma, and Betty, eventually died from smoking-related diseases. From Tom and Jerry to the Stone Age. The creators, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, were already legends at MGM, where their Tom and Jerry shorts had scooped up 7 Academy Awards. However, when MGM shuttered its animation department in 1957, the duo had to reinvent themselves for the small screen. While their Huckleberry Hound show paid the bills, they craved a primetime hit that adults could enjoy. The journey to bedrock was a messy stretch of trial and error. They considered settings ranging from ancient Rome to a family of pilgrims. It wasn't until storyboard artist Dan Gordon sketched 2 characters wearing animal skins, one using a bird's beak to play a record, that the project found its direction. Even the name was a struggle. It was originally the Flagstones, but legal threats from the creator of the High and Lois comic strip forced a change to the Gladstones, and finally, the Flintstones. Selling the show was equally grueling. Joseph Barbera spent 8 exhausting weeks in New York pitching to skeptical executives. On his very last day, ABC finally bit, ordering 28 episodes and saving the project from extinction. The Honeymooners connection. If Fred and Barney felt familiar, it's because they were. Fred Flintstone was a prehistoric mirror of Ralph Cramden, while Barney echoed Ed Norton. The working-class husbands dreaming up schemes while their patient wives, Wilma and Betty, dealt with the chaos, was a formula lifted directly from the Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason, the star of the Honeymooners, noticed the resemblance immediately. His lawyers argued he could sue the show off the air. However, Gleason famously demurred, fearing he would be remembered as the man who killed Fred Flintstone. He let it go, never receiving a dime of credit or compensation for the inspiration. The Winston Years and a Dark Legacy. From 1960 to 1962, Winston cigarettes sponsored the show. These weren't just commercials, they were fully animated segments woven into the program. Fred would light a Winston for Wilma or slip behind the house with Barney for a quick smoke. The legacy of that sponsorship is haunting. Alan Reed, Fred died of emphysema and heart disease in 1977. Bea Benaderet, Betty died of lung cancer in 1968. Jean Vander Pyl, Wilma died of lung cancer in 1999. Mel Blanc, Barney died of emphysema and heart disease in 1989. The irony peaked in 1968 when the Flintstones appeared in a public service announcement for the American Cancer Society, just 2 years after their original run ended. The Miracle of Mel Blanc. One of the most incredible stories from the production involved Mel Blanc. In 1961, Blanc was involved in a near-fatal head-on collision on Sunset Boulevard. He fell into a deep coma for 2 weeks. Doctors were hopeless until a neurologist tried a radical idea: he spoke to Blanc's characters. When the doctor asked, "Bugs Bunny, how are you today?" a weak voice replied, "I'm fine, document." By communicating through his characters, Blanc eventually woke up and returned to the recording booth from a bed in his home. The birth of Pebbles and the shift to kids. The show's transition from adult satire to a children's show was driven by commerce. When writers planned for Fred and Wilma to have a son, a toy executive intervened, noting that girl dolls sell better. Thus, Pebbles was born. The marketing push was unprecedented. A national contest to guess Pebbles' birth weight drew 600,000 entries. Within 2 months of her TV debut, 3 million Pebbles dolls were sold. This success shifted the sponsorship from tobacco to Welch's grape juice, and the show's tone followed, introducing more kiddie elements like the super-strong Bam Bam and the Great Gazoo. The dark side of Fred Flintstone. Despite the shift toward children, the show often tackled heavy adult themes. Fred Flintstone was depicted as a man with a genuine gambling disorder. Known as Betting Freddy, he once gambled away his family's possessions and was forced to see a psychiatrist. His chasing of losses was a surprisingly realistic portrayal of addiction for a 1960s cartoon. The marital tension was also palpable. A lost 2001 special, The Flintstones on the Rocks, portrayed Fred and Wilma in marriage counseling, dealing with themes of infidelity and prejudice. It aired once and was essentially buried by the studio, surviving only through unofficial bootlegs. The mystery of the missing vitamin. While the show faded, its merchandise thrived, specifically Flintstones vitamins. Launched in 1968, they became a $100 million a year business. But for 25 years, Betty Rubble was missing from the bottle. The official reason? Her waist was too thin, causing the tablets to break during manufacturing. It took a massive fan campaign and a public push by Rosie O'Donnell in the 1990s to finally get Betty her own vitamin. The legacy of Bedrock. The Flintstones lived on through a massive 1994 live-action film starring John Goodman and Rick Moranis, which was a financial juggernaut despite critical panning. Yet, the show's enduring mystery lies in its timeline. A popular fan theory suggests Bedrock isn't the past, but a post-apocalyptic future. This explains why they celebrate Christmas, use paper money, and have complex technology. Even in the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones, Elroy's time machine was set for the future when it landed in Bedrock. From cigarette ads to children's vitamins, and from adult satire to sci-fi mysteries, The Flintstones remains one of the most complex and misunderstood shows in television history. It was a world that kept shifting while no one was looking, a prehistoric reflection of our own modern chaos. What do you think? Was Bedrock the past or a hidden future? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Prestige Buzz, and hit that bell notification for more untold Hollywood histories.